Hello everyone, this is Charlotte and this is a podcast called Chatting in Cars. It's where I discuss random topics at length, sometimes written on a post-it note and sometimes pull out of a baggie. There is a disclaimer at the start of this podcast because I do swear profusely and I enjoy the experience of it, so if you don't want to hear me swearing and you think I should be more ladylike, even though I pretty much am a lady, you can change the channel now. I'm not going to hold it against you. I do swear some random shit. Oh look, there I go again. There is also a disclaimer because I talk about sensitive topics and you don't have to hear it, of course. Otherwise, change the channel if you want. Some nasty shit does happen. And I do cross themes, so it's not just one theme I talk about. I talk about many themes. Oh my god, move. Sorry, I'm looking at two obviously lost Martage West. I would say plumbers. Getting in the way of my car. Sorry. I talk about random topics that cross over and I don't stick to one, so obviously, you might find yourself looking at kittens whilst talking about puppies, I don't know. Anyway, there's weird shit as well, like poverty and coercive rape, but it's just a weird day. So, my topic for today is opportunity. Sorry, I'm just getting a little bit distracted just trying to get the fuck onto the road. Opportunity, yes. Opportunity is often seen as a positive thing, of course. We all want to have opportunity. I don't know if we're sort of programmed socially to want it. It's seen as a very positive thing. It's like a chance to do something right. However, you don't want to be seen as an opportunist. That's deemed as a negative thing, which I find fascinating because isn't it just using the base word or the base meaning of opportunity? So, I suppose it's because, opportunities are seen as sort of exploitative, but in a negative way, or maybe in the extreme way. I find that most things are an opportunity. Even horrible experiences can be an opportunity for learning. So I don't really have a problem with being called an opportunist. There is that negative stigma attached to it, of course. Nobody wants to be exploitative of maybe a weaker underdog or something like that. For example, I want to say Marxism, for example. What some people might have seen as sort of capitalist entrepreneurs, others would have seen as exploitative opportunists of working class people, and working class being like the proletariat. So that's deemed as a negative dichotomy. The rich people exploiting. It's so Friday. Exploiting, goddammit. Exploiting the weaker, more vulnerable proletariat. Although at the same time, if you look at it both ways, the bourgeoisie, which is the rich people, actually created circumstances where the proletariat, who were for a large part starving, dying of disease and stuff like that, gave them the opportunity to earn money to better their life chances. I mean, a large chunk of them used it for, not bettering their life chances and turned to the drink and drugs and things like that. Which there's always a group of people in both, rich people and poor people that would do that. That's just down to the individual. But for the better part, even with the introduction of things like Fordism, people's lives improved, the Industrial Revolution. But then again, in communism, for example, these bourgeoisie are seen as evil people because they're exploiting the workers. So I'm guessing it's more to do with the tactics they're using to facilitate the employment opportunities of these proletariat. But bearing in mind, what would their lives have been if they hadn't been given the opportunity of, say, working in a factory? So I don't know. Maybe we need to look at it more critically. But there's always some fat cat who's going to exploit you for free shit, isn't it? Basically, the human condition is, designed to find shortcuts, to sustain sort of survival, for a longer period of time. I mean, we're always going to find the short or easy way of doing things because we don't want to waste energy, and that's part of our biology as well. Homeostasis is, cutting away excess to maintain. Part of homeostasis to maintain a certain level in order to enable survival. Not only are we doing that on a biological scale, we're doing it on a social scale as well. In a horrible way, that's how you end up with eugenics. In a horrible way. Or if you want to go into sort of, what is it? Not Freud. Who did the Übermensch? Nietzsche's Übermensch. So we want to create this optimum level of survival, and apparently it turns up as a, super dude. So we're cutting corners to cut cost, right? You might find that opportunistic. But honestly, in life we are given a shitload of opportunities. We just got to find a way to access them. So, I get pissed off when my kids turn up to school. I know the area they exist in. I know the area because I lived in it. I've experienced the same area. And then they say they can't be fucked doing anything in the class. They can't be bothered doing their work. They can't be bothered participating in the lessons. They don't want to be there. And I don't know. I mean, it's obviously a sign of immaturity because they're kids, right? Obviously. But they don't understand the opportunity they're being given to get out of the shit circumstances they're in. And I found that for me, it worked pretty well. I mean, I was lucky, or maybe not so lucky, that my experiences in the classroom were better for me than at home. It was just, my home life was just fucked. If you listen to the other podcasts, as a kid, I was safer and more looked after than my parents did in the classroom by the teachers, these random fucking strangers. So, I had weird experiences where the opportunities presented themselves as ideals in the classroom. That's possibly one of the reasons I became a teacher in itself. It's not only did I find it to be a welcoming environment, I found it to be a supportive environment where I could actually, transform my life. And we do as teachers, and I'm a bit biased, obviously, we do as teachers tell people that education is a transformative process. It's also a socializing process. And of course, we want you to exist in a society, of course, and survive. We're going to tell you what to do to progress, hopefully, and exist in the society that you find yourself in. And all classrooms are different, obviously, because you've got to exist within a particular context. Oh, look, more construction people. But at the same time, these are opportunities. We're giving them the chance to. I mean, if you go back to pre-industrial revolution, people were just dying. Mortality rate was crazy. It was all down to poverty conditions. You had maybe the 1%, which was still there, just surviving off these essentially serfs, if you want to go in Russian terms, where, you would rent your house off of a rich dude, and you'd pay them homage by giving them, a percentage of whatever you grew or whatever you could forage. And in that way, they allowed you to live. Otherwise, you got kicked out. I mean, my people are Irish. We know very fucking much about the potato famine and tenant problems and getting kicked off of farms because our crops fucking failed. We know about that, which is probably why I've got some weird, deep problem with renting altogether. I was like, I don't want to rent, I want to own. There's somewhere in my DNA we're pissed off about it. We're still pissed off. It wasn't our fault the fucking crops got mold. It wasn't our fucking fault. Well, you can't pay us, so get the fuck off our land. It's like, no. Actually, I don't know if my people, my family bloodline actually went and had that problem, because we were on the west coast in Galway. We were living off mussels and shit. So all the potato problems were on the east coast, I think, with Dublin and that. So my people were looking at these people that were starving, getting kicked off their land, probably going, fuck you. I don't know. There's a very much an east to west coast problem, war thing, conflict. Nah, we all get along, we're all Irish. But it's like, it was different circumstances, but my people definitely chose the harder lifestyle by staying on the west coast of Ireland, because it's all fucking rocks. You ever go to the Cliffs of Moher? It's black rock. Try fucking scaling those fucking things for birds' eggs and shit, right? Jesus. What are we having today? Omelets. Oh, fucking hell. Okay, who's going? I picked a small one. It's okay. He's last in, last out, right? The first out. But no, it's crazy. Opportunity. So even from a survival instinct sort of way, my bloodline's all about, being an opportunist. It's great though, because you're finding all these pretty cool aspects of your heritage, and you're saying, I'm going to fucking do that now, if I can, if I can apply it to these circumstances. The majority of people have survived a series of horrible experiences. Wars, famines, disease, poverty, just to get up to this point in this line of succession, you know, your DNA survival. So I'm thoroughly pissed off when people turn around and say, I can't be fucked staying at school and doing this. I can't be bothered going and getting a job. I'll just sit on the welfare line. I can't, you know. There's a chunk of people that do it. There's a large chunk of people that are there, of course, unnecessarily. They don't want to be there, obviously. There's still that stigma of, I'm on the welfare line, I can't provide for myself, therefore I'm incompetent sort of thing. I've sat and done that myself. You hate yourself for it, obviously. But it's some circumstances just, you know, merit it. You can't help these things that happen. For example, COVID lockdowns or fucking recessions and things like this. You lose your job because you get sick. It's not your fault. It's obviously not your fault. These things happen, yes. You can't see everything that's going to happen, obviously. But these fuckers that sit there on the welfare line complain about not getting enough pay, so they can't buy like an Xbox or something stupid. And I've seen a lot of these programs on YouTube. I watch them strangely for fascination. You know? It's like I'm watching these poverty documentaries, and I really want to get involved and, you know, feel for these people. And I do. And they complain about not getting an Xbox. It's like, why can't we be like everyone else? It's like, well, everyone else has a fucking job. It's like, that's why we can't be like everyone else. And I grew up in welfare system myself. And it was just a given. If you don't have a job, you don't get the perks. The perks come with the job. That's the deal. It's like, the welfare system isn't meant to be a lifestyle choice. It's meant to be a stepping stone to get you somewhere else. It's something you fall back on because some weird shit happened and you didn't have a choice but to accept help from other people. Fuckers sit on it like it's a job. I'm going, what are you talking about? No. Are you disabled? No. Do you have any kind of, like, did you bother paying attention? What is going on here? What are the circumstances that lead people to just slap down opportunities of employment because fuck it, we can sit on the welfare line for better pay? Is it better pay? Because you're still complaining. It bugs the fuck out of me, it does. I don't know if I'm just biased on that account because, you know, I've had a background of being told you will get a job, you will get an education, shit like that. I don't know. There is a culture amongst poverty cycles where, I think it's called tall poppy syndrome, where if you try to better yourself, you'll get knocked down by those around you. There is a culture of that. I've seen that in action. They don't want you to be different. They don't. One thing when I was in high school, I was going to uni. I was trying to aim to get to uni. I was doing uni courses in high school because there was that opportunity. The local union wanted us to get out of poverty, get out of these shit circumstances. So they were like, right, how can we get them used to like uni courses early? Prep them early, get them going with it so they're steady and on the run, you know, when really it goes down. And it was brilliant. I loved that initiative. I felt so grown up. I'm like, I'm going to uni. Fuck you guys. And the rest of my people that were hanging around, sitting there smoking in bushes and shit like that, it's like, the first thing they did was like, you fucking snob. I'm going, what are you talking about? I cannot help it that I'm fiercely intelligent. Obviously, right? No. But I saw the opportunity. I'm like, this is the right thing to do. I don't want to be like you guys. I don't want to sit around, get pregnant at 16, smoke around in bushes and get shit-faced. You know, I don't want to waste my life. And I was lucky in that I saw it early. Most people don't figure this shit out until they get to like late 20s and they're like, fuck, I wish I'd done that. And that's why we have things like mature age students who've had their whole trying to figure themselves out up until their late 20s, and then they go, all right, now I actually want to go get a job and an education. You do bridging courses and things like that. It's what my brother did, which was not a problem. It's not a problem as long as you are able to recognize the need for it and, you know, apply yourself, really, isn't it? Don't waste your chances. You're given so many fucking chances. It's like so many fucking chances. You just got to see them and recognize them and apply yourself and have the balls and guts to fucking say, I want to do this. I'm going to do this. And you got a bunch of assholes sitting around you, most likely, tall poppy fuckers, who are going to say, I can't believe you did that. But you go, no, fuck it. I'm going to do it anyway. Fuck you guys. And I'll be laughing when I'm, sitting in a shitload of cash. Of course, I'm a teacher, so it doesn't really count for me, but I'm saying go and be a doctor or something. You can do it. You can do it. I went into teaching because of many reasons. The pay is okay. I could do better. I'm thinking about it, actually. Given the stress I had yesterday. Fucking science experiments. Little bastards. 5-6s. They're 10 and 11 years old, and they are just assholes at times. The chaos that runs around these kids. Jesus, I had them jumping on chairs and shit like that. One fucker tried to climb over the desk. Oh, would you just fucking sit down? You can't say fucking, but you're thinking it. That little shit was out of that room pretty fucking quick. And get out. Especially if we're doing experiments. Get out. Opportunities. You will find, if you go into survival mode, that there is going to be more opportunities that will open up. Your brain will rewire to look for them because you're trying to survive. And so when we get in a position where it's too cushy, we take too much shit for granted, that we start, ignoring the 5 senses that are on the floor, the coins that are on the floor. You go, I don't need that right now. When you're broke as fuck and you can't afford food or electricity, you're going to pick up those 5 senses and you're going to be fucking grateful for it, or at least you should be, right? Don't take that shit for granted. Never take that shit for granted. I think back to the things I used to spend money on, and I'm thinking, I cannot believe I wasted my pay on that. Oh, great, sorry. I've just noticed we've got lorries blocking up both the overtaking lane and the undertaking lane. Wonderful. Why do they do this? That's illegal. Anyway. Got a lorry sitting in the overtaking lane during peak traffic. Oh, drives you nuts. Australia. Anyway. But you don't take it for granted, do you? I mean, after being homeless, I appreciate, I really fucking do, having a roof over my head and somewhere to actually stop and call home. I mean, I know still, even though I'm renting, it's temporary, I still have a roof over my head. And I don't have to rely on anyone else. I'm paying my own rent and I get things going that way. I'm looking for more stability, actually. So that's why I want to buy an apartment next year. And I've got the deposit, but I'm waiting to make sure I've got that buffer as well. I know the shit bit that comes when you've blown all your budget on the deposit and you're waiting for, extra money to come in. I still don't want to live hand to mouth while I'm waiting for that extra money to come in. It's going to come, but it's like, I'd rather not have the buffer. And that's only because I've lived that experience and I'm grateful for understanding that needs to happen. On top of that, the rental, oh my God, that I'm in right now, for me, for what experience I've had before, is quite fancy. Everything works. Even in the apartment I used to own with my ex-husband, I was constantly having to fucking fix things myself, because we couldn't afford someone to come in. So I was like doing my own flooring. I was doing the painting. When we first moved in, I was trying to fix up the bathroom with leaks and snaking drains and shit like that. And even though I'm grateful for the skills I picked up doing that, I'm so grateful, even more so, that I don't have to do it in this apartment because everything's fairly new. So, you gotta be grateful for the things that you get, the opportunities you get, obviously, because you never know when you're gonna get them again. You go look for the opportunities though. Don't just, become complacent and expect them to be there. Oh, it's okay, people are gonna do this for me. No one's gonna do it for you. You have to go out and look for it, go and get it. My ex-boyfriend was very much a case of, if I act pathetic or if I act incompetent, someone will do it for me. So that's not the case he's facing now, because nobody's wiping his ass. I'm keeping my ear to the ground, shall I say, about the shit that's going down with him, and he's having a time of it. And I wish I could feel sorry for him, but I don't, because he's a little leech. He tried to exploit the situation. I mean, he was opportunist. Really, he was an opportunity. I presented myself as a very soft place to land, and he took me up on it. No, yeah, I can understand why he did that. He didn't want to work, but at the same time, you don't just let it be a default. You still got to stand up on your own 2 feet. So he's got this lack of mentality right now. He's obviously running out of money because he didn't want to work. He was turning down jobs because he had me backing him up financially, which I now found out. They're offering him extra contracts and things like that, and he wanted what did he call it? A work-life balance. He was doing 2 days a week work at home on the computer, and then spending the rest of the time in the pisser. I didn't find this out because I was at work 5 days a week teaching. And it wasn't until I got some time off that I actually went, what the fuck are you doing? What is this work-life balance? He's like, it's okay, I don't want to be stressed. It's like, that's great, but you're turning down work because you assume I'm going to, provide for you. It's like, no, it has to be even. It has to be a case of both of us working together to build something. And he was given an opportunity, obviously, for us as a couple to build together. But because he, shat on it and exploited it in a negative way, I had to leave. Several other things happened which completely fucked up that relationship. But he just became so exploitative of the situation. There was no point staying. It was only doing me harm, so I had to leave. I did look like the arsehole, I bet, to his friends because I wasn't willing to pay his bills anymore. And I know he's been spreading shit about me saying I am an asshole because I left. I'm sitting there thinking, no, dude, this was never the plan. You were supposed to stay in school. You were meant to get a job and stuff like that. And he quit school. And his contract ended. So he's unemployed. He's not in school. And he's expecting me to foot the bill. I'm going, dude, no. No. That's opportunistic in a bad way. That's not... You missed the whole point of the opportunity. I mean, he got into UWA. He got into UWA. That is the top state uni. He has the brains to do it. That is the hardest uni to get into in our state. And he fucking dropped out because he couldn't be fucked. And I'm sitting there going, you are an asshole. Speaking for every teacher in this state, you are an ungrateful asshole. Do you know how much we prop our kids up to get into a uni like that? It's like, do you know how much effort we put into our kids? And you're just like, I can't be fucked. So he's knocking down opportunities. I mean, and he's paying for it now because he has no money. He has no money to go to the pisser like he used to. And nobody wants to back him up because he's just generally an arsehole. And these people are abandoning him. All these people that he was trying to fit in with and be like, and they're just fucking him off because he's got no pay to fit in, to join in. So, I did tell him that these arrangements, these friendships or so-called friendships are shallow and you shouldn't bother investing so much energy into them. But he's like, so fuck it, right? Consequence. I am a connoisseur of consequence. It's like, I told you this would happen. God, it's just me being an asshole, I guess. Pointing out the obvious. Boys. Where are the men at? I like men. Anyway, I also like women. But, I don't like boys. They annoy me. Opportunity should... They tell you opportunity doesn't come knocking. You have to go and look for it. Which is true. There is a chance for, if you do see an opportunity, first of all, you have to be able to recognize it. And then you have to be able to prep to have the skills to address that opportunity, to access it. And then you need to be able to perform to get any kind of product out of it, right? I mean, think about it. I had the opportunity with school to get into uni, to be able to train myself, to get a job, to become a teacher. All of that process involved opportunity turning up first. We were very, very lucky and grateful, or maybe it was just fate, to have this bloke turn up while I was in year 12 and say, I'm running a course to get you into uni, to be fast-tracked. You want to do it. If I'd have knocked it down and said, I don't want to do that, I just want to, finish year 12 or finish year 11 or whatever, get a job, I would be a very fucking ungrateful asshole. And the universe would have reacted accordingly because you'd have a lower paying job and essentially I would have a completely different lifestyle. So when someone actually offers you an olive branch or a hand, you first of all analyze what kind of an olive branch or hand it is, because you want to look at it critically. It's like, what are you getting out of it, right? But at the same time, don't just knock it away. You know, you understand where it's coming from. Is it really helpful? If it is really helpful, try and, you know, guesstimate what the repercussions of accepting it would be. Because it's going to be useful in one way or another. Even shit experiences are a lesson. Shit experiences of, you know, living in poverty. I learned so many ways to survive financially and facing like the previous recessions, homelessness, 10 grand in debt thanks to credit cards and shit, thanks to my ex-husband. Getting out of that problem. I learned so much from that. That being in poverty was actually an opportunity to develop those skills, to develop a mindset which is more resilient than, say, someone who's been, you know, rich their entire life and never had a chance to, you know, come across problems like the recession. I find that now that we went down with COVID lockdown, businesses are failing, things like that. People are newly poor, and, you know, in a horrible way, I'm having a little bit of a giggle because this is just normal for us. So in fact, we actually made money during the COVID lockdown because they were giving out free money for like cost of living payments and shit like that. I'm going, sweet. We've always been broke. This is actually improvement for us. We got like electrical supplements and fucking, oh Christ, cost of living payments and economy boosters. I think at one point we got $800 just to make us spend money. And I'm going, yeah, right, I'm not going to spend money. I'm going to put that into my credit card bill, or I'm going to put it into my electrical bill, or I'm going to, you know, they wanted us to go out to shops and promote business consumption, essentially. They wanted us to go and buy some shit. And I'm like, nah, bruh. This is going on my credit card, dude. I'm not fucking stupid. But everything like that, all that helped me, and I'm loving it because all that came from living in horrible circumstances, which people wouldn't actively opt for. Poverty, surviving essentially on strategy and going without, and hand-me-downs and dealing, you know. It's like, oh, we haven't got electricity today. Oh, fuck it. All right, guess what else can we do? All right, or how can we remedy this? It's like, okay. I mean, you just get used to living at a certain level of going without. That when these nice things happen, where someone has said, right, that level of living is not great, here's some extra money, it's like a nice perk. It's like, oh, $800. Awesome, I can get myself a little bit more out of debt. It's like people are ungrateful for these circumstances. It sounds weird, I know, because I should feel bad that, oh my God, I live in debt and stuff like that. It's like, be grateful for the extra perks that you get, the extra skills you've developed dealing with these horrible experiences, because you've strengthened your resilience muscle. You've strengthened your skill set. You've learned that you don't want to go back to those experiences if you can, and you'll find a way to get out of them, obviously, because, you know, you become like a rat. Essentially, and a rat's gonna find food, isn't it, motherfucker? Says coming from a very small white chick. I'm a badass street rat. But, you know, you find a way. You just do. I mean, it's horrible experiences. I don't do the victim mentality. I hate that shit. I really fucking do. It makes me angry when people sit in that victim mentality. It's like, I grew up poor. I know that. I am thoroughly excited when I get to do something that isn't poverty-based. So when I went away on holiday, I fucking loved it. If I find... Oh, dude, I had bread yesterday. I don't know if that's an over 30 excitable thing. It's like where you suddenly, you know, really appreciate carbs, or the fact that it's not normally in my food or diet. So I found some and I ate it and I was super psyched. This sounds weird, doesn't it? You know, people just take bread for granted. I found some loaves the other day. But you know, these small things, you appreciate the small things. I don't know it's a small thing because people are like, I have bread every day, motherfucker. And I'm like, I don't. I have bread on a Saturday, if I'm lucky. And that's only because I know I could easily eat a whole loaf. Easily, in one sitting, not a problem. Not a problem. a fiend. But it's the opportunity to have bread on a Saturday, I guess. I look forward to it. It's such a simple metaphor or experience. People are like, I wanna work really hard to get a Lambo. I'm like, I just want a loaf of bread, mate. And some decent fucking butter. I don't need bougie shit. You can't eat a car. Oh, that's the Taurus in me coming out, right? What are our priorities? Food, sex, sleep. Leaving me alone. People leave me alone. I don't want to go there. Or is that just an introverted Taurus? But you know, you do appreciate the opportunities you're given when you've lived a lifetime of not having them. I find that people who are, you know, just given everything, they're ungrateful. I mean, look at, and I know I love the royal family, right? I don't love the current people. I loved the Queen and Prince Philip, but the more I'm watching the subsequent generations, the more I'm looking at them going, you are ungrateful little assholes. So I'm watching Harry at the moment, yeah? I used to love Harry, he was awesome. He was a fun-loving guy, and, you know, then shit went down with the Markle. And suddenly he's coming across as really ungrateful. He's living in a mansion in Montecito, and apparently it's not good enough, so now they need a bigger mansion. And I'm going, are you fucking high? People are dying in the streets from, you know, poverty and shit, and you're worried about you haven't got enough fucking footage on your already fucking massive house. So that kind of shit annoys me. I'm going, you are ungrateful. These people, it softens, they're too soft. I would laugh my ass off if the Charles, I refuse to call him king at this point because he didn't even act like a prince when he was one. I refuse to call him a king. He is, as far as I can see, not a moral person. He should not be leading anything. He's done too much shit. He's tarnished. But that's just my opinion. I'm a staunch monarchist. He is not of the right, you know, stuff. Anyway, slightly biased account. But they're given everything at birth. They've never had to fight for anything. I mean, they get upset when someone calls them names in a newspaper. I'm going, dude, I have physically been assaulted and raped. If someone calls me a name in a newspaper, I wouldn't give a fuck. I genuinely would not give a fuck. I would laugh because I'm in a newspaper probably. I'm going, how the fuck did I get in there? I don't know. They're soft, and they're fucking soft. It's not even, they're not given the opportunity to harden themselves, to firm themselves with reality, because everything's been given to them. And I feel like that is that's a shame. If Harry got all his titles and all his money stripped off him and actually lived the civilian life that he wanted to live, he claimed to want to live, out of the spotlight, I think he'd die, quite frankly. I don't think he could survive it. I think he would probably develop some kind of drug habit because he was a pothead or whatever before. I think the Markle would leave him because, you know, he's not popular or anything. He's just a dude now. And he's the father of her kids, but if he didn't have the titles or the money that's coming, he's still getting money from Charles. He's getting an allowance. I'm like, you fucker. You ditch home and you still get paid. You neg on all your responsibilities and you still get paid. That annoys the fuck out of me. I'd strip him of everything. It's like, you want a civvy life? That's fine. No extras. No frills. You go as you are. You are a soldier. You are qualified as a soldier. That is it. If you didn't bother investing in yourself, in educating yourself to be anything else, deal with the consequences of your actions, right? This is how a life in the real world starts or exists as. Given every opportunity to just sit on your ass and take pay, and they still are ungrateful. And you sit there and think, fuck you. I don't like it. I think it's severely ungrateful. Anyway, that's me bitching about that. I won't keep going about that. But we really do need to access and recognize opportunities when they turn up. Don't be ungrateful. Chance it. I mean, do you ever see that movie Yes Man? Is it one with Jim Carrey? Where he just says yes to everything. And then his life has a horrible experience. an interesting experience. I don't know if it was great experiences by my judgment, because some of the things he did I wouldn't fucking do, simply because of fear or, you know, horrible, knowing the consequences would be horrible. But at the same time, the chances of not receiving good stuff are starkly, you know, non-existent if you don't bother recognizing the opportunities when they turn up. And sometimes, and it's horrible as well, when you live in poverty, you don't recognize that these opportunities exist because you're not conditioned to see them. One of the downsides of living in poverty is that some people, and yeah, it's a horrible aspect of it, some people want to keep you down there because you're the workers, you're the cleaners, I was a cleaner, I was a factory hand, I worked in a seedling plantation, I did all these odd jobs. And these people are needed, yeah, and they're valuable. But you can do so much better. And you get fucking fed up of standing in one spot and packing boxes and shit like that. So when I got the chance to educate myself and get into uni and stuff like that, I fucking took it. I'm like, I hate this job. I mean, stressful still. Teaching is still stressful. It's a complete shit fight, like yesterday. Oh my God. But it's better pay for the shit fight that you're going to get, right? You're still going to get a shit fight in a factory. I mean, there's fun shit fights. My sister and I used to work together in a factory, which was a bakery factory. And we used to have butter fights. We got in trouble for it, but it was fun. So, it's a shit fight, but it's a fun shit fight. But, you know, it was minimal pay. I think it was $100 a day. And now I'm getting $4.50 a day. For less hours as well. So you got to recognize the opportunities. It's a little bit more work, of course. You have to, you know, go to school, educate yourself, put the effort and time in, commitment. You make sacrifices, of course. You can't go out drinking with your buddies knowing that you've got a fucking exam tomorrow. But at the same time, it's worth it. It's really worth it because you want that better lifestyle. And I'm not saying be materialistic. Don't do it because, you know, you want them Lambos or fucking Maseratis, some shit like that. Do it because it's about self-value. It's acknowledging you've put the effort in and the skills in and getting it done because, you know, you've done the time. You've put the work in. Can you hear that rain? Wait, I have to get out in that. Shit. It's meant to be summer. But, you know, I hope you really... What the hell? I hope you really recognize the opportunities you get. They're everywhere. You just got to see them. You got to acknowledge them. You got to, at some degree, in some way, you need to admit humility. It's like you might have to do some horrible shit to get some shit. But I'm not saying, you know, put yourself out on the street corner. But, you know, you're going to have to play nice with people you don't like. I do it every day. I go into a classroom, and to be honest, the kids. It's usually the EAs. There's always one EA that gives you the shit. So I've got one called Mrs. Blackmore at the moment. She's a volunteer, and she's not even an EA. She just gives me the shits because she's an interfering little troll. But, you know, you got to deal with these people. You got to go play nice because otherwise they won't ask you back. And there goes $4.50 a day, right? Realistically, I want to tell her to go home because she's about 90 and she's a control freak. It's giving me the shits. I'm like, you're not even qualified to be here. Why are you here? But yes, we play nice. We recognize the opportunity. We adjust our sails and we go for it, right? All right, I wanted you to take it easy today. It's Friday, Freya's Day. I'm going to try to enjoy getting through the day knowing that it's the last day of the week, right? I get my nails done after work, so I'm super stoked. Take it easy, guys. Have a good one, okay? Take it easy.